Let's start with my team. Round six. It's a very interesting week of trades. There's obviously a few guys that are getting closer to their peak money making potential with Cartwright. We've got Hopgood moved to the bench. What people are going to do with him. There's people trying to save for Nico Hines next week. If you didn't have Cleary, you're trying to get him as well as Hines. So there's a lot going on in this one. And, you even look at Cartwright and he has a 23 break even there. So really, with him starting this at least one more week, you'd say that he still has a bit of money to make. And, at worst, isn't going to lose you any. Things can change as well come that last game. It's obviously a long way away now, being Easter Monday. And, you've got Hopgood who could potentially just start. Madison was great off the bench. Still playing the same minutes at 55 to 60, but being a bench guy. And, Hopgood getting in and doing all the dirty work. But I can see either way they do this one. So Hopgood I still think is a clear hold this week. I'm not going to have him as vice-captain. I haven't changed that yet. I'm still not completely sold on my trades this week yet. I've left a fair bit in the bank, as you see there, 356. My one trade so far is Lockie Ilias down to Isaiah Katoa, and very simple in that one. It's his team now for a while. Him and Cody Nikorima. 277k. I've only missed out on the 47, which is ideal, and a couple of solid scores in a row now. We saw the kick meters go up. There's a few run meters there. Tackling is still average. We're not getting much out of him there. But if he happens to increase that, improve that a little bit, drop those missed tackles from 5 or 6 down to like a 3 or 4, then there's a couple extra points as well. But if you can average 30 over the next bit, we've got a clear 100k, 150k there. And he makes some decent money, which is good. And he's a nice cash down, which allows me to make some moves next week. My other thoughts this week were trading out Cartwright. Understandable, fair enough. I have 356 in the bank. So really, the two thoughts were shore up my wing fullback position, which has Suoli'i, Warbrick, and Miller. I got Chester in there as well as my cover, and Tommy Talau as my looper this week and going forward, unless he comes back next week. So what we're looking at in that fullback position is two guys that play tonight, and I am shit scared, to be honest with you, of these two. Suoli'i being that more expensive guy, he actually scares me at 5'11", and I think he'll be able to do solidly, but this matchup I think is going to be fairly close, and I'm not too excited for the outside backs in this game. Warbrick with Hughesy back, I'm not sure if that actually helps him at all either. We saw what happened with Hughesy there. They sort of helped Eli Katoa, and he'd either step back on the inside or he would pass it to Katoa into a line break there. With Munster back, Warbrick scored pretty well in that first game, got the 30-odd, even though he didn't play the full game. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried on Warbrick. If I was to bring in a fullback, it would be Walshy this week. I'm obviously looking at guys like Teddy in the upcoming weeks as well. Walshy has a small worry for Origin, but you've got Ponga to come back potentially, and the more likely customer to come back is AJ Brimson, who I think they probably should select over Walsh just for him having done it previously. Brimson and scored really and done really well in the Origin arena, but then just defensively as well, that Walsh is not exactly there yet, and you wouldn't expect him to be, being so young in that position, but he would definitely do a job. So we're definitely worried about that as well. But I think at 590 odd for Walshy, he would be a solid one to slide in. And I suppose we need to wait on the news for Chester as well. I think that's the way I might play it there. If Chester comes off that bench, which has a chance because they've got Granville, Chester, so Granville can cover multiple positions. He's obviously a hooker. He could jump into the halves if he need, and he has played fullback in the NRL only a couple of years ago, so he can cover all those positions, and that's why he's in there. And they play him as a bit of a middle forward anyway. But then they've got Riley Price there and Jermaine Tanua-Brown. So that bench is definitely a scary one. So if Chester does get pushed off that bench there, then I could potentially move him to a Walshy or something like that and could play him. But the issue here is having Warbrick and Suoli'i playing in that first game. So the other question is now, do I loop one of these guys? Probably not ideal because I only have Chester. So really, I might just be looping Isaiah Katoa in that one and potentially going for him or Brycey Cartwright, who I'll change out of my side as well. I haven't fixed up the squad to look good for the first game there, but I just wanted to go through my trades in this one and get this out as soon as possible. So that's probably the play I'll do. Hopefully Isaiah Katoa can do pretty well, a 40-odd or so, and then we can loop him in. But I expect Cartwright to do pretty well this week. They are playing the Tigs, and Hopgood, Cartwright can still play pretty well in big minutes. You'd imagine, with Weddermill Greg there, that Hopgood's going to play big minutes in that middle rotation. Madison, that 60. Campbell Gillard, probably some big minutes as well. With Junior out this week, I think Hopgood's going to play big minutes. It's not going to be an issue. Cardi, still probably 80 on that edge, and they'll move through those middle forwards there with the other positions. So that's my general thoughts on the squad at the moment. Just looking to improve the wing fullback position. Other guys are Brayley, who are potential options. If we don't want to go for Hines, then obviously guys like Sammy Walker could be the play. I do have Isaiah Katoa as cover in the halves, so getting cover with Brayley or something like that with Robson is cool, but we know what happens in round 13. That's the worry there, but that's still a while away. So yes, we want to try and really bump up the ranks this week. If we do only do the one trade, playing Cartwright's going to be fine. My only worries is Warbrick and Suoli'i situation. So if we can get out of tonight pretty well, with Trent Lioro, Eli Katoa also doing well, they'll both be my starting side guys, just to sort you out for setting up your team well. If we can get out of this game with all four of those guys, let's say averaging 40, if they can all get a 40, I'll be happy with that. And if they don't, then it obviously stuffs up the start of the week, but the rest of the squad is looking fine there for sure. So that's my team at the moment. There's a few things to think about, and you really should be looking towards the next bunch of weeks. So guys that I have on bye in the next few weeks is Tommy Talau in round 7. So we get to use him as a looper next week anyway, which is cool. Chester, I'm not sure what's going to happen with him over the next few, so he's potentially a trade out as well. And the way I'm going to try and get Hines, guys, is potentially if Hopgood, with Junior Parlour coming back, if Hopgood's not playing big minutes this week, he's probably not going to play them next week either. So he could be the trade out for Nicho Hynes. I could straight swap him to Nicho, which is pretty cool. If I wanted to go someone else who's a little bit cheaper, I could do a downgrade of Chester. Once he makes a little bit more money, we've got him that's going to make a little bit more with his negative break even. Cartwright with his low one. Hopgood still in a fine position, guys. He's priced pretty well where his break even's at, and can he score that this week off the bench potentially? Yeah, but he's one of those guys who's most likely not going to play Origin. He's going to be a good guy over that Origin period to have in your side. So I think it's a bit of a stretch to try and push him out of your team this week. Just like people trying to move out Carrigan and these types of guys at that same price. I just think it's a bit of a stretch to trade out a potential keeper, definite keeper in Carrigan, potential with Hopgood there. For someone else. And guys like Eli Katoa, if he happens to fail again this week, then he could be a guy we look to move on at a nice price. He's made plenty of cash, he's done a good job. They're the kind of things we need to think about. And as I said, is it important to you to get to pay that over $1 million for Heinze there? And is that going to be worth it in your side? That's the big question mark. Next week, I think guys like Cam McInnes could be a sneaky one, depending on how many minutes he gets this week. If he gets back to that 50 mark, then McInnes is going to be great. He's going to be down in that 540 mark, and it could be 150k undervalued. If he gets back to scoring, hitting 55 minutes or so and scoring about that 50 mark, he could be a sneaky one over this next period as well, heading into all the way and through to round 13, and we can work him out from there. He might just be a hold through that whole period if we've got Rudolph out for that time, and we can make decisions on that there. Ben Melk-Masila started to make a little bit of money, so you're looking at this squad now and you go, oh, that's not really that nice. Your bench guys, that you've got a fair few cheapies now, but I could upgrade Chester to anyone at 700k. So just have that in your mind there, that this is just a temporary thing, having all these cheapies on the bench, but this is how we're going to do it, guys. Continue to recycle these mid-range guys that have done well, made us some cash, and we bring in that cheapie who's going to make us 100 or 150k or so, and just keep going from there. So building that team value really high. I'm sitting in a nice position, close to 12 million at the moment. And you can see here that if I use that 350k, I could get a clear gun from a Cartwright. I can go right to a top gun. I could go for another mid-range 600k type of guy from Chester who'll be able to score us a 50 or so anyway. So the reason, the only thing I would have done, is improve that swing fullback position. I feel like it's, otherwise, you kind of, I've got enough good players that can, it's probably going to be a marginal improvement. Like if I brought in a Brayley, I think Cartwright can score a 45 anyway. So Brayley about that 50 mark. And it's just really what Walsh is going to do compared to a Warbrick. There could be a 50 compared to a 20, which is 30 points, obviously. And that could be not ideal for our squad. We're definitely going to captain Cleary again, guys. Other good options, I still think Payne Haas is a great guy to captain. If you want to, you can go Sean Johnson. That would be cheeky as well. And then obviously Harry Grant, Robson, these types of guys are pretty solid. Granty there a little bit safer. He's going to be an interesting one in this Thursday night matchup against the Roosters. So that is my team at the moment. Let me know your general thoughts. I think making the one trade, that means I've saved 2 for the year. And just remember, guys, we do get 3 trades next week. So potentially, if you're looking to get Hines, you can do a couple of trades there. And if there's some cheaper guys that pop up over the next few weeks, then that would be ideal as well. But I think with that ability to make 3 trades from here on in, and then 4 going into the Origin period, probably important to save a trade this week and not push it when I don't need to. That's the big thing you should look at on your side. Yes, the last bunch of weeks I've been really pushing hard. Last week only 1 trade, but the few weeks before I've been max trading. And that's got me into a much better position. And I'm very grateful for that. But sometimes you do have to hold off on pulling the trigger just to get that extra 15 or 20 points in 1 week and hope that next week is going to be a little bit easier. Because here you go at 356k in the bank. I could then do a straight swap or close to Hines if I want. And if things happen in between that and I've got to do other changes, then I could use that cash elsewhere. This week should be okay. I might not, I could, if, as I said, if they all get 40 or 45 or something tonight, then I'm in a really good position to absolutely dominate again this week. But if they don't, then I'm probably going to be a middle of the road type of team and probably hold rank. So every chance that we can get into the top 1,000 with Hines not playing, but that's it with that one there. So let's go to the People's Squad, and just a 1 trade made for the People's team here. We had 0k in the bank, and we decided to move on from Harley Smith-Shields and bring in Kodi Nikorima. So this team, unfortunately, we have no loopers this week, and just marginally here. We might see if it does change before the end of the day, but Warbrick, I think, was 1 vote ahead of playing him rather than playing Tamari Martin. Again, I'll see if that changed. I personally would go for Tamari in this one, just with them having a slightly easier matchup against the Knights, but I do completely understand the switch there. So we'll wait for that one and make our decisions. The other question was then like Tanner Boyd over Isaiah Katoa or Nikorima. And Scoop said that just to me, just privately, just before, that if we have a 500k guy in our team and we're not going to play him, we probably shouldn't have him. And that's what happened with my team with Ilias. It was time for him to go and recycle him as a cash cow and scorer. So that's that. But the squad here, we're hoping for a big bounce back from Paddy Carrigan. He deserves it. We deserve it. And I think we're going to get a good one out of him. Tanner Boyd, not ideal that we're going to get him and Sexton playing together, but Tanner, they come up against the Dragons. Should be a fairly close game. And I think he can do a pretty solid job for your sides in this one. And we look at the guys on our bench now, and everyone there is going to be making money, which is great news for us. You've got Warbrick in our starting side at that cheaper price as it is. And everyone else, basically, except for Carrigan and then potentially Hopgood there, not going to be making too much cash going forward. But the rest of the guys are doing a great job, making us some good moolah. And then everyone on our interchange and emergencies is going to. So we're sitting at, I think it's about a 11.6.5 team value. So we really need to start building on that. And, thankfully our rank's improving, but the team value would go up as well. So you'd imagine this week that this team here makes a little bit more than mine does. And that is completely fine considering I've been sort of doing really well in that department the last few weeks. So People's Squad in a much better position going forward. And we'll check our league who are up against in our league this week and see if we can make a good charge in the Community Cup as well. So we come up against the Fantasy Lounge community. Yeah, beautiful. So they're the team coming first, and they have a really nice side on their hands. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually watch these videos and try and match up their team against that. But yeah, it's going to be a very fun one this week. We do have the what have we got, the 10 teams there in the Community Cup coming third at the moment. This one's going to determine who's going to be in that top couple over the next few weeks. So very excited to see that. I hope you guys have a terrific week and good luck with your trades this week. It's going to be an interesting one, as I said, if I decide to make that extra one, or if we just stick solid with the 1 trade there and look and set our sights to next week, potentially using the 2 or the 3 in that one to get Hines, or to really build this squad and get us in the top 500 over the next few weeks. Good luck all. See you later.